a Linux console is a system console internal to the Linux kernel. A system console is, alright, nobody actually cares about the technical side of terminals. It's that cool little window that you always see whenever someone is showing off their Linux system. And it's the same window that most people are afraid of using because for them it feels like writing a code to install a browser. And while nowadays you can go on without using the terminal at all if you're using a user-friendly distro like Linux Mint, I still think you should probably give it a try. As a matter of fact, if you do choose to use the terminal, it will make things much more easier and more convenient for you. So here are some cool terminal tools that I use on a daily basis or almost use on a daily basis. This is too long of a title. Fastfetch. Starting out with a simple tool here, it's more of an appearance tool, which is Fastfetch. It's basically a system information tool like NeoFetch or Fastfetch, aka the thing that you see on all Linux desktop screenshots, but it looks better and it's animated. You run it and it gives you a clean, colorful summary of your hardware, kernel version, and other system info, usually alongside a nice ASCII art logo like this one, and this one is my favorite. So if you're showing off your setup, I think it's a cool tool for you, and it has good defaults, but you can add your own using another tool called Draw, FFmpeg. Now onto the more important and actually useful stuff. FFmpeg is a tool that I use in the making of a lot of my videos. Let's say you have a video format that won't translate to your video editing software. I'm looking at you, DaVinci, like H.264 and H.265 or AAC for audio, which are basically the codecs that make up most of your MP4 files. If you use the free version of DaVinci Resolve on Linux, you know that these codecs just won't work if you try to import them to your timeline. And this is where FFmpeg becomes useful, because with one command you can just convert your clips into ones with usable codecs like Apple ProRes or DNxHR and PCM for your audio. Using a command like this, you can convert your clips in seconds and get to working. You can do other things with FFmpeg like turning your clip to a GIF that you can share on Discord, or extract audio from a clip, or even record your screen if you don't want to use OBS for some reason. The funny thing is you've been probably using FFmpeg for years without even knowing about it. If you've ever used Kdenlive, Blender, or OBS, you were technically using FFmpeg. These user-friendly apps are basically just a fancier interface wrapped around the FFmpeg engine. Take Kdenlive for example. When you hit that render button, Kdenlive doesn't actually do the heavy lifting of turning your timeline into an MP4 file. It sends your clips and effects to a framework called MLT, which then hands the data over to FFmpeg to do the actual encoding. But yeah, FFmpeg, great tool, lots of apps depend on it, and I think you should use it. RMPC. Our next tool is RMPC, which is a music player on your terminal. And while you can just use something like Spotify, it tends to eat up your RAM, collect your personal information, and they rob artists of their revenue. And overall, in a perfect society, we would have a better streaming alternative. But for the time being, you can locally play your music, and RMPC is the tool for that. Best thing about it is that it barely uses any resources from your PC. That way you can listen to music while gaming or doing work that requires a lot of RAM and CPU usage. It's also really easy to navigate. You can use the tab key to switch between your queue, directories, RS, albums, and a search feature, and you can navigate through this entire music player without even having to touch your mouse. Almost everything about RMPC is customizable, and you can use other people's scripts if you don't know how to make your own. Our next tool is actually not just one tool, it's a set of tools that operate in a similar way, which is terminal browsers. You got something like DDGR. DDG is a search engine. While may or may not give you different results from Google, it's better, it's less bloated, doesn't have all the AI shit, and it's known to be more private. But why would you even want to use that on your terminal, as opposed to just opening your browser and Googling something? Well, sometimes you just want to know what something is. Let's say you want to know what date Linux was made in. You'll be able to just search it directly in your terminal, and there you go. In other cases, you might want to know the definition of a word. You can do curl dict.org/d and then type out the word that you want to define. You can even make it faster by creating an alias for that command by going into your bash file with this command, and then copy this into your bash file, and then type this to apply the changes. Now you can just type define, then whatever word you want to learn, and it's a really quick way to just search something up. You can also use something like W3M, which is a text-based browser, if you just want to read something without the distraction of ads and images. You also have something more advanced like Browse, which is basically a fully functioning browser running from your terminal. Why? Well, because in the dev's own words, not all the world has good internet. Let's say you have a really slow internet connection, or you're using a hotspot or anything like that. Then you can just SSH into a server and browse through it, as opposed to using your own internet connection. TLDR. And our last tool is TLDR. If you're still a bit nervous about using the terminal because you don't want to memorize 8,000 commands, then you might want to use TLDR. See, Linux has this built-in help system called man pages or manual pages. The problem is they're written like a legal contract, and that's where TLDR comes in, which stands for too long didn't read, because sure as hell I ain't reading all that. So let's say you want to know how to use FFmpeg. You're just gonna type TLDR FFmpeg, and it will give you a list of the most prominent commands. Want to know how to make files? TLDR make directory. Wanna know how to list a directory's contents? TLDR ls. Wanna know how to use TLDR? TLDR. Now you can stop using ChatGPT to write out commands for you. They're all available in front of you. That was about it. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you're interested in a part 2. Consider leaving any form of engagement if you like this video, and see ya.